Cord, please.
Hello and
Sorry.
welcome each and every one of you. With you today is me, Daiga, multilinguistic international coach therapist from DCTcentre, and joining me again is two lovely ladies, Morganne Rayne Adept, visionary spiritual guide, ceremonialist and artist, and Alisha Ann Kingrey, empath and mission to help other empaths to achieve financial independence. So, hello, lovely ladies.
Hello.
Good
We
morning from
today
the
need
Pacific Northwest.
hello from England.
Hello from the middle of the universe. It changes daily.
Okay, we today need raise energy because we sort of have quite low energy count at the moment. We need raise energy. So, ladies, what we can talk about energy and how we can raise energy.
So let's talk about positive stuff. Let's talk about there's a lot going on in the universe right now. A lot. There's a lot of ebbs and flows, right? One day we feel good, one day we feel bad. There's just so much energy coming to the planet right now. But you know you're on the right side when if everybody is happy with you all the time, you're not playing the right way, right? I mean, we could look at the craziness going on in the world right now. And especially online on social media, if everybody loves you all the time, you're on the wrong side. You're not playing the game the right way. I can't talk today. So I have been hit with some major stuff this week. However, we have to remember in my situation, now I'm not speaking for Morganne, I'm not speaking for anybody else. In my situation, I'm about to jump into ascension. I am about to jump in the next level of financial blessings. But if you can think about yourself on this planet being guided by an invisible sensei, if you think about any kind of karate class or any kind of martial arts class, there's many belts that you have to go through. You have to be a yellow belt to get to the brown belt. You have to be a brown belt to get to the red belt. You have to be a red belt to get to the ultimate, which is the black belt. And then there's even higher levels of black belt. But you can't just show up at the karate studio one day and say, I think I should be a black belt. Your sensei is going to look at you and laugh you out the door. He's going to say, absolutely, I can get you to black belt, but it's going to take a lot of hard work. It's going to take me pushing you out of your comfort zone. And it's going to take hitting your levels slowly until you get to the black belt. So, especially when we're going through ascension or, moving to the next level of whatever your level is, whatever you're going through, the hardest times of training feel the worst. But it's required to get us to the next level. And I am talking 100% to myself right here. However, I'm sure a lot more than just me are going through it. So I believe that it's helping somebody. Whenever you're going through a bad time, don't get excited. Don't get depressed. Don't get down. Don't throw in the towel. That is your breakthrough moment. Like just on the other side of this bad thing is when your breakthrough is going to be revealed to you. Depending on now, there's a little catalyst here. Did you pass the test? Could you get a higher belt, or do you have to stay in yellow belt for a while? Because again, listen, it's a huge responsibility to be an ascended person, to be a leader, to be the head of something, have people following you. That's a huge responsibility. Are you cut out for it? Are you going to be the person that the universe needs, can rely on, can help these other people? Or are you just going to be an average person who doesn't put in the work, who really doesn't have time to put in the blood, sweat, and tears? Which, again, there's nothing wrong either way with staying where you're at. You can stay at yellow belt for the rest of your life and nobody cares. There's no right and wrong in the universe. But a lot of people want to go to the next level, but they never put in the work.
Yep.
They sit in yellow belt status and complain that the black belts are doing so much better than they are. But they don't go back over the last 5 years and see all of the steps that the sensei, the black belt, the second, third degree black belt had to do to get there.
Right. You reminded me of an experience I had when I was teaching in metaphysics. I taught for an organization. I taught their spiritual practices courses, 12-week courses 3 times a year. So 36 weeks, I'm teaching the same course.
Wow.
Spiritual practice. And I did that for 12 years.
Wow.
Right. So it's like what you're saying. It's like the place where you are, it's like, it was like, I wanted to go teach another course, but I was never asked to teach that course. I was always teaching spiritual practice over and over and over again. And I remember when I decided I just could not teach that course anymore.
Right. Understandably.
Right. But it's the same thing, it's kind of like, well, the coursework was great, right? And I did a lot of great work, and I would say it would probably be the first level black belt, right? And I just had to keep doing it over and over and over again. And, it really, when I look back, teaching that course really ingrained in me habits and consciousness,
oh my gosh, I'm sorry,
and awareness that I probably would not have gotten if I hadn't taught it that many times for that many years. I think that it really firmly rooted and grounded me in spiritual practice. So where you are in your awareness, whatever level you're at, be there fully. Be there, be in mastery of that level. And that's what the sensei is looking for, is mastery. You can't go to the next level until you have reached a level of mastery and can demonstrate that mastery. So I love your story this morning on the sensei, because I have to keep going back, and when I falter, I go back to that coursework. I go back to it because it grounds you in spiritual practice. And really, I think when we're a human living on planet Earth and we're caught in the density of it all, and we're going through whatever we're going through, reminding ourselves of our spiritual practice, because the spirit's the part we can't see, right? We can't see it. You know, we're so enmeshed in a 3D touch it, feel it, smell it kind of world. And it's immensely dissatisfying to be there until you add the component of our spiritual nature. And then we bring in the magic and the mysticism and it's way better than that 3D density that people are caught up in. And I've gotten caught up in it too. It's easy to do. It's alluring. So anyway, I just wanted to piggyback on your sensei, because when we get caught doing things over and over and over again, well, maybe we need to do things over and over and over again.
When Alisha Ann was talking about this, in my mind came something else. I was learning all stuff what I learning, counseling, psychotherapy, life coaching, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing this for nearly 8 years. Yeah. And all those 8 years, I have full-time job, 3 shifts, full-time job. And every single my holiday was actually done for me to once a week go to college. Yeah. And do coursework in between and all rest of it. And then when I started my practice, one of my first clients wanted sort of go similar road as mine, yeah. And I said, okay, we need to do this. Oh no, I can't do it. I'm working 3 shifts and all this work, and I won't be able. There is no time for it. I said, for that you have your holidays. Yeah, I said I use my all holidays. I never have for all those years. I never had holidays as such. Yeah, I use them. No holidays. Holidays is for relaxing. I said, okay, then good luck with your change.
Right.
If that's for relaxing holidays, it's for relaxing weekends, it's for relaxing, then okay then. If you don't want to get out of your comfort zone, then you're not going to change.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's to that. We're promised ascension, right? But you got to be inconvenienced in that 3D realm. The extraction from that, the movement from that is hard because we're so attached to it. We're so attached to what we can touch, feel, taste that it's hard to let go on the idea that there's something greater than that. There's something more than that.
Yeah.
I'm very disappointed in myself. Very disappointed. I've been on this road for how many years now? Most of my life.
All of your life.
All of my life. We're such creatures of habit that it's a very thin line between 3D and the higher dimensions. I am a obsessive meditator. Loud noises, especially these days, part of my ascension has become my ears are very sensitive to sounds. My nose has always been sensitive. I'm like a dog. I can, smell food from 3 doors down. But now all of my senses are getting heightened. And I just sit here in the quiet and I talk to the other side all day. That is where I find my solace. That is where I'm content. I hate the TV. I hate social media. I hate YouTube. I hate anything that takes me out of my quiet time with my people on the other side. And I'm always asking the same question. I want to go farther. I want to go higher. I want to go better. I want to go bigger. And so the universe said, okay, let's do it. Bam! I was hit with catastrophe. And you know what I did? I was very 3D. Very 3D. I dove into work, trying to fix everything, so now I'm working overtime. I'm in 3 meetings a day. I'm in, I literally have no time, and I've done it. It's my fault. I have no time to meditate. I have no time for my, loving my crystals and being with the beings on the other side that are helping me to ascend. I have thrown myself into nothing but people and work, which is a very, very 3D experience. I was talking the way that I shouldn't have been talking. I was doing the things, talking doubt, talking things that I shouldn't have been saying, instead of I am omnipotent. I am powerful. I am going to turn this around. I didn't do any of that. I fell right into the problem. And the universe, source, is so amazing. It fixed everything anyway, without me and my ego fixing everything. It just fixed everything, and better than it was before. But the message was still there to me today. Like, Alisha Ann, do you remember this? Yes. And what happened? You fixed it. And was it better afterwards? Yes. And then, do you remember this? Nothing happens to us. Source brings all of this stuff to us when you ask to ascend. Okay, he's gonna do it, but because it doesn't feel good, because it doesn't feel like ascension, we don't recognize it for the training that it is, right? So I was just shown all of this stuff, all of these disasters that I thought were disasters in the past, but that is exactly what led me through all of my biggest miracles. Without disasters, we don't grow. We don't learn anything. Think about how worthless the people are who have been born with the silver spoon. They don't know how to work. They don't know how to take care of themselves. They don't know how to deal with other people. They're very selfish. They would never help another person. If their life depended on it, they wouldn't help another person.
They don't appreciate anything either.
Appreciate anything? That's right. They have no empathy, no apathy, no philanthropy. Like, they're just engulfed in 3D presence. So I've always said I welcome the disasters because I know I'm ascending. And this time I forgot so easily. That's very disappointing to me and this time, this was possibly the most disastrous thing. Well, okay. I've been through bigger disasters, but this one would have affected the most amount of people. So I guess that's why the fear came in, the doubt came in. But Source, knowing how I am, my heart to help, that was going to hit me the hardest, and I failed the test. So I'll have to go through something again, and I just have to be mindful to do better next time.
You could always ask for guidance.
Yeah.
In the presence of it all, because the disasters aren't who you are. It's the accumulated consciousness around you. So it's asking for the guidance to see through it, to see it clearly, to know clearly, to ask for right action, right response, come back to right thinking, because there's disasters all around us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're just happening everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Look at our planet. It's one domino disaster project going on.
Right.
But in the midst of it, who are we? What are we? And you were talking about I am, the two most powerful words you can possibly ever speak. And then, when you were saying, well, you didn't do that, you went, I will. So you say, I am or I will, right? I will is employing that ego self of pushing through it, of, the I am is the alignment with the divine to know, see, and execute through you the correct way of being. So, those I am, I will is I'm doing it on my own. I can make it happen. I can push through it. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, but when we begin to align with the divine I am and allow it as our I am, we become a facilitator of clarity. We become a facilitator of peace. We become a facilitator of abundance. We become a facilitator of that because we're connected to the divine of who we are, which keeps us from being attached to the 3D worldly concepts. So it's a practice. You're right. It is a practice. And when we let go and we don't honor that, when we say, I don't have time, the universe says, okay, you don't have time.
Okay.
All right, sure, you don't have time.
One thing that's go ahead.
What, Daiga, go ahead.
No, so it is.
So it is.
That's the thing that sticks in my mind forever now, Morganne. Like whenever I say something, I can hear your little voice going, and so it is.
Me too. Me too. Every time when I catch myself on something, Morganne's voice is in my ear,
and so it is.
And so it is.
Man. No, I take it back. I take it back.
Exactly. We forget how powerful we are. We do. And, being attached to the 3D is the powerless place to be.
Yeah.
The place where we get our power, let's use your metaphor again of, the martial arts, right? We're really, the three of us, we've been trained through this life experience. We start out here as, fighting our way through, right? And then it's learning how to fight in a way that moves us in better ways, that moves us in a higher way. We learn that, right?
We learn how to fight better.
Right. And it's as we move up the skill level of life and we begin to add into that our divine nature. That's what the sensei is asking us to do, is move higher in consciousness. And that moves into knowingness. Long time ago, I've done challenge courses. I love challenge courses. But one of the things that we do, and I know probably everybody's here has heard of someone doing brick breaking or board breaking with your hands, right? And in martial arts, they do that as well with your feet or with your hands or whatever. There's a consciousness behind that. It's not about just going up there and whoa. I was in a class where there was about 20 people, got men, women, and I watched. So the exercise that night was going to be board breaking. So everybody had their boards, and it was so interesting to watch some of the guys, well, even some of the girls, but the guys were so, they get up there and they go, and like make all this noise and they go, and then they like, and they scream because now they've hurt themselves, you know. But I listened to the master teacher before everybody started trying. And what he said was, know that the board is already broken. Know that the board is already broken. So when it was my turn to go up to the board, those words were in my head. Know that the board is already broken. So in the awareness that the board was already broken, I then moved my hand and went whoosh, not with any pumping myself up, truly just with the board is already broken. And that my hand just went through it like butter. It was the same thing with fire walking. It's the exact same thing when we're presented, and this is life experience. And I a lot of times equate life experience to a fire walk. I mean, we have stories about walking on fire, that you could burn yourself, you could become injured, you know, you got all these stories about what would happen if you touched that fire. I mean, and that's instilled in us from when we were little kids, right? Would your parents say, don't touch that, you know, you're going to get burned, you know, you get all programmed with this thing called fire, that you shouldn't go near it. You shouldn't touch it. You know, it's going to injure you. But in a fire walk, you've got a long path of hot, fiery coals going on, when you can see the fire flicking out of it. And you stand before that. And for me, you know, my knees would go jelly. All those thoughts of you're going to get burned. But then the master's voice would come. It was, know yourself on the other side. Know yourself on the other side. So I did the same thing I did with the board breaking, right? To know the board was already broken. Know yourself on the other side. So I image myself on the other side going, woo! Okay. That's what I did before I got onto the fire. That image took me across the fire beautifully to the other side where I was going, woo!
Wow.
It's like, this is the way, that's how we do, that's the master teaching. Know yourself on the other side. The board is already broken. So whatever issue, whatever thing you're trying to overcome, work towards imagining what would it look like and feel like when it was already complete. What would that look like and feel like when it's already complete? And hold that imagery as you are moving toward your goal, toward that, walking that fire, just walking toward your goal of remembering yourself on the other side. And it's, I love doing challenging things like that because it brings me back to what's the truth. If we let life's limitations, if we let the fear stories rule us, if we let our, parents are parents. I love parents. I have been one, right? But they always, they seem to instill limitation in us, right? Because they don't, you know what? I think it's about, they don't want us to fail or whatever, right? But they don't let us succeed. They keep holding us back in our limitation. So when we can know ourselves on the other side, let's take a look at what's going on in the world events right now, right? So, Alisha Ann, you are like on this ascension path. So you're on the path and it brings you back down. You're on the path and it brings you back down. You know, the power of the meditation is to know yourself on the other side. What is the ascension?
I should have talked to you 3 days ago. This would have been a lot easier.
And who am I in this? Who am I in this process? And who am I on the other side? Because that is how we get to the other side. Not through I will or I can. It's through I am.
Seeing yourself on the other side. So it makes a lot of sense with the walking on fire. It doesn't make sense to a normal mind. But if you think about earth, wind, and fire are true. They were the very first elements that were here before these avatar bodies were here. You had earth, wind, and fire. It was like the first thing ever created. And these are real. We know that they're real. Everything comes from the earth and the wind and the water and the... So these avatars are not real. They're just a bunch of atoms floating in space that we put so much reality behind. But thinking about it that way, when you're walking on fire in this earth suit, if we could really think of it as an earth suit instead of our home, instead of the reality of who we are, I guess at that point, walking on those hot coals, if you realize that you were a fake earth suit, it might feel just like having shoes on and walking over a warm cement or something. Now, is there any damage on your feet when you get to the other side?
No. No, the people who become burned are people who let the fear come and let the stories come. You know, I'll tell one more story about, and I may have already shared it with this group because it's such a profound story that occurred for me. In one of the challenge courses I was doing, this was an outdoor course down in California. And I'd done all the wall climbing, and I mean, that, you know, they give you a whole bunch of stuff to do. The last one was you have to climb up a telephone pole. Okay, first of all, everybody knows what a telephone pole looks like, right? So you got to climb up to the top of the telephone pole, get on top of the telephone pole and stand up, and then turn around 180 degrees and leap off. Now, you're tethered. You're tethered. You're tethered. But, oh my gosh. But you forget. You totally forget you're tethered. Okay, so
right.
I go, oh, I can do this. I can do this, right? So I'm, because I just had so many successes right behind me, right? We did that. We did that. Okay, so I climbed up to the top of the telephone pole, and all of a sudden, this fear overcame me, and the pole started doing this. And as it started doing this, I became more terrified. And so it started doing this. Literally, that pole was swaying back and forth and back and forth. And I could not get to the top. I could not take those final steps to get to the top. This fear had me paralyzed. And what I heard in my head was my mom when I was a little kid, when I would climb up in trees, because I pretty much lived in the trees. Get out of that damn tree. You're going to
break your arm.
Now you're going to kill yourself. Okay, so that's what's running. But some brilliant soul, a master teacher at the bottom of the pole says, Morganne, it's not the pole, it's you. I heard it. And when I heard that, I went, oh, it's me. And when I got it, the pole went from this to, and I couldn't move. The pole did not move. So
right, it's a telephone pole. It's probably 5 feet in the ground.
Right, but when
you're moving
here, you can make that thing move. So when I got that, it was me and my fear. Pole straight. I just said, okay, I'm on top of the pole. And actually I went, I'm leaping off. That's where I was. I'm leaping off because that was the final part of it. So I easily put my foot on top and hoisted my body up to the very top. Oh, I forgot to tell you, on the top is a disc that spins. so, so that's part of the challenge too. You get up there and you're moving, but it didn't matter because I already knew in my mind I was turned 180 degrees and I'm leaping off. And when I leapt off, it wasn't I just jumped. I literally spread my arms and leapt off. And it was the most glorious experience because I'd been through the fear of what my mind was telling. See, that's that programming parents give us, right? That's the programming the world gives us. That's the programming. We have to defy the programming of I can't, or you will break yourself, or you will kill yourself, or whatever the programming is. That's ours to overcome, and that's ours to say that's not truth. The truth is I'm leaping off. I'm flying in the air. I'm on the other side. The board is already broken. You hear how those things are? It's like saying the end result. So I just throw that out there for everyone.
Wow. Okay. So when you leapt, was there anything at the bottom, or there was just the tether holding you until you got to the ground? Was there a big bed of air to catch you at the bottom? Was there anything?
No, it was just the ground. So you leap, and then you're tethered, and so you're hanging up there, and then the belayers are down there now,
just bringing you.
Right now, they're
Morganne, you're my hero. You are my hero.
That's spiritual practice right there. Ooh. It's taking a fear thing that anyone could be like. I mean, anybody would say, I can't climb up that pole, right? That's the first thing. I can't. Okay, and so it is. You can't.
So Sam wants to go paragliding.
Awesome.
And we sit and have lunch and we watch all of these people jump off of the hill, and you never go by yourself. It's in tandem.
Right, exactly.
But we have walked up there before and watched them jump off. And I have this pain in the pit of my stomach. I feel like as soon as I jump off of this mountain, even with the instructor behind me, I just feel like I'm immediately going to have a heart attack and die.
Yep.
I get all the way up there like, okay, today is the day, hun. We're going to do it. We're not going to live forever. I got to get over my fear of heights. Let's go. And then I can't even make it through the cable cars on the way up without crying the whole time.
Yep, that's the fear. That is the fear that has got you caught. So the imagery, if you wanted to have a successful hang gliding experience, would be see yourself, program yourself for that, because you're already programmed for the fear. I mean, something got you totally wrapped up and tied up in a big fat Christmas bow with the fear, right? So it's your job to go, that is not truth. That is not your truth. What is my truth? I fly free. You know, whatever that is for you, right? What's the end result? Go there. And then when you're in the process, like when I stand in front of a fire, I have to go through the, oh, there's the jelly knees again. Oh, there's the thoughts, and say, that's not truth, and go back to what is the end result? I'm on the other side celebrating. It's like you gotta, or for you, it's like, wow, I landed on the ground and that was a great experience, right? And then start looking at that and feeling what that experience is like.
It sounds like I absolutely have to jump off of the mountain just to get myself past that fear space. Do you see my tattoo right here on my arm?
butterfly.
So it's a butterfly with a tiger face. And that for me stands for I have the flight of the butterfly, but the strength of a tiger. So I always remind myself of that. Yes, I am a sweet person. I am a nice person, but universe, watch out, because I'm plowing through. I'm knocking down doors. I'm knocking down things that hold me back every day. So even the thought of it,
a piece of cake.
even the thought of it right now, I'm sick to my stomach. So
I would go to that sick to your stomach and check what's there. What are you communicating to me? Because that if you let that sick to your stomach prevent you, you would never know what it is that is keeping you from your glory, what is keeping you from your ascension, what is keeping because if we can't defy 3D, oh honey, well then we're trapped in 3D.
Right. So the opposite of that is diving. We went diving. And the same thing, I couldn't stay under for 10 seconds. I just knew that I was going to drown. I knew it looks like you're an astronaut when you're under there. It doesn't look like what you think it does. You feel like an astronaut, a ship dropped you off in the middle of space and you're just floating around and you're seeing stuff you've never seen before, and it's dark. And it's just like outer space.
Yep.
And it's pressure. You've got this whole body gear on just to be able to breathe, which you have to learn how to breathe. You have to learn how to swim again. You have to learn how to balance. You have to learn how to come up. You have to learn how to take the water out of your mask. There's so much to it. And I was petrified. I couldn't go down. So they said, okay, so Sam, he was like way down there, like 15 meters. He was like, whatever, swimming around. Oh, look at the fish. He fed the fish with some bread under the water. So they took us even further out to an even deeper spot. And this British woman said, we're going to do this. Let's go. She pretty much didn't ask me. She's like, we're going to do this. This 20-year-old kid is forcing me to get in the water. And she's like, let's go. She took my hand. She was swimming underneath me. I was swimming on top of her. We were holding hands. And we're going down. And we're going down. And she kept like this. You look at me. Look at me. Look at me. I had no clue that we were down like 8 meters. Then 10 meters. Then I just kept looking at her, and she said, okay, now look around you. And Morganne, it was like heaven. Yeah. I realized at that minute, what have I been afraid of? I am in one of the most beautiful things in the whole universe.
Exactly.
After that, I took off. I went away from the instructor and I started swimming around and watching the little fishes and looking at the little the sea plants and there's tons of like little sea stars and sea cucumbers. And when I switched my mind around to the beauty of it all, it was one of the most exciting, precious moments of my life. And I've been diving since. And it's like my favorite thing to do now.
Yep.
We dove in the Red Sea in Jordan. I want to go diving again here in Turkey. We just haven't had a lot of time, but it's glorious. I could live in the water now.
Yeah.
But I just had to make it through that threshold of fear.
So the master, the girl, look at me. Focus on me. She was the master. She had no fear. She was imparting to you her consciousness of fearlessness and just we're going to do that. We're doing this, right?
We're
doing this, right? There was no, well, let's think about doing it. Well, maybe you can do it or whatever. No, look at me. Stay focused on the master. And when you let go of the ego, which is the I can't, I'm afraid, what if I die, da, da, da. You know, we got the stories, right? It's like the fire. There's stories about going under that ocean too. When you look at the master, that's the meditation, is look into the heart of the divine, look into the mind of the divine, accept that as who you are. And that's what you did. You looked into the eyes of the master, and you all of a sudden were there. You didn't have to think about diving. You didn't have to think about the dissension. You were just there.
It was beautiful. I suggest anybody in the world, if you want to try something new, dive.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's probably the point where we finished. We started quite late today, so by time we are on the point. Is there anything else, ladies, you want to say?
Just when life gets hard, be happy because your breakthrough is coming.
Yep. And I'll piggyback on that. When that life gets hard, that's just your next obstacle to know your way through. And hear that word, know your way through. It's an obstacle, but it's not really there. It's just an obstacle.
Right. It's just a test. It's not real.
It's not real.
It's just a test. Your victory is on the other side of the test. So the quicker you can, make it through to the other side, the quicker you're going to get to your victory. Oh. Sam is knocking on the door. Can you give me just a second?
Okay, on that note, I think we wait for Alisha Ann to come back. I will remind everybody, please, if you like our shows, please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube video channel, and there is many more videos to come.
Yes.
There she is.
Sorry about that.
Anything else you want to say to our viewers?
Listen to this show again.
Yes.
That's what I say.
That's what I was going to say.
Listen to this show again, because what we have taught you today, you want to ascend? Show me. You want to ascend? Show me. Do this. You can, but you have to know you can. Know your way through it. Know your way through it. I love you all. I love you.
So listen, really quick, we have to say one more thing, because people are going, okay, how do I make it through the other side quicker? There's nothing that you have to do. Just be. Don't be anxious. Don't be worried. Don't be none of those things. Just be. Stay exactly where you are. Observe the situation for what it is. Appreciate the situation. But realize it's like a movie that you're watching.
Yep.
In the peace and tranquility and serenity is where you get to the other side quick.
Yep. And remember, in Course in Miracles, it says, respect the illusion, but know the truth.
Right. We're already victorious.
Know the truth. Yep.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you very much for all this knowledge today. And please, like I said before, like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube video channel. And thank you for watching, and God bless.
Love you all.